Hello, IP students. Today our topic is Society Law and Ethics, and this is Society Law and Ethics Part 2. And in this lecture, we are going to discuss about cybercrime and some types of cybercrimes. In our last lecture, we discussed about intellectual property and intellectual property rights such as copyright, trademark, or patent. So let us take a revision first. What is intellectual property? Intellectual property refers to the creation of the mind, and when we say that creation of the mind, it includes inventions, literacy, and artistic work, and symbols, names, images, and design used in commerce. And as far as types or category of intellectual property is concerned, there are two types of intellectual property. First one is industrial property, which include invention, and invention belong to patent, trademark, industrial design. And second is copyright, which includes literacy and artistic work. Second term which is very commonly used is digital property right, and digital property right is basically a right which relates to digital property, and digital property means digital assets, which refers to any information about you or created by you that exist in digital form. That is a very important point, that exist in digital form and either online or electronic storage device. So example of digital property includes email account. Email account is your digital property. Your social media account, your Facebook account, such as your Facebook account, is also a digital property. Shopping account, a shopping account is also a digital property. Your video sharing account is also a digital property. Video gaming account or online storage account such as Google Drive, your website, even your blog that you have managed, and any software or code that may have written and on, etc. All these are types of digital property. So we can say that digital property are the property which are in digital form, and it includes email account, social media account, or online storage account, video sharing accounts, or website, or even blogs, or any software code that may have been written and on, etc. So these all are the types of digital property. Next is privacy. Privacy is the protection of personal information given online, and privacy in terms of digital work. So in the e-commerce especially, it is related to a company's policy on the use of users data. So whenever you visit any e-commerce site or purchase any product from an e-commerce site, you give basically some information regarding to yourself, and that is very personal. So this types of information cannot be shared or accessed anywhere by e-commerce company. So it is related to basic privacy of a user. Otherwise, it is considered to be as cybercrime. Second word is scam. So scam is a term used to describe any fraudulent business or scheme. Any fraudulent, yeah, the term uses fraudulent business, or it may be a scheme that takes money or other goods. So that takes money or goods, so both are possible, from an unsuspecting person, and the person who performs this activity is called the scammer. So scam is a term used to describe any fraudulent business scheme that takes money or other goods from an unsuspecting person, and the person who performs this activity is called the scammer. Second term, which is very important and used in cybercrime, a type of cybercrime, is called the phishing. So phishing is the process of collecting your personal information. So phishing is basically related to collecting your personal information, and information is collected via email or through email or website claiming to be legitimate. So that is very important point. Now this definition can be divided into three parts. First of all, it is a process of collecting your personal information, and it is through email or website, and this email or these email or websites claiming to be legitimate. So these are the three important points or parts of these definitions. So first one is process of collecting your personal information, and the information can be collected using email or websites, and the email or website claiming to be legitimate. Next, this type of information can include username, passwords, credit card number or debit card number, social security number such as Aadhaar number, etc. And Oftentimes, the email direct to your website. Now, this is a very important point. Sometimes or often, email directs to a website where you can update your personal information. And because these sites often look official, they hope you will be tricked into disclosing valuable information that you normally would not reveal. And what is the final result? The result in terms of identity theft or financial losses. It may be possible that some money may be deducted from your bank account. So that's why phishing is considered to be a cyber crime. So phishing is basically a very important type of cyber crime, and as the name suggests, phishing. So it is basically a process of collecting your personal information via a through a fraud email or website which claim to be which claiming to be legitimate. And this type of information can include your username, the password of your bank account, or credit card number, debit card number, ATM passwords, or social security number such as Aadhaar number. This type of personal information can be shared or can be accessed using phishing. And basically, phishing involves email, and these email directs you to a website where you can update your personal information. And these websites look very official, but they are fraud websites. And final result in terms of identity theft and financial losses. Next term is spoofing. So what is spoof? Spoof means to hoax, trick, or deceive. Therefore, in the IT world, spoofing refers tricking or deceiving computer system or other computer users. And this is typically done by hiding one's identity or faking the identity of another user on the internet. So it is looks like the same as that of phishing, but there is a little bit difference between phishing and spoofing. Spoofing basically comes from the word spoof, and spoof means hoax, tricks, or deceive. And spoofing refers tricking or deceiving computer in system or other computer user. Now that is the definition of spoofing again. Now there are three types of spoofing here: IP spoofing, email spoofing, or web spoofing. So spoofing, as far as definition is concerned, there is a definition given here. An attacker attacks his identity, alters his identity. Alters means change his identity so that someone thinks he is someone else. So that is very important. An attacker alters his identity so that someone think he is someone else, and it is using email or IP address. So there are three types of spoofing here: IP spoofing, email spoofing, or web spoofing. In simple word, we can say that spoofing using an IP address is called the IP spoofing. Spoofing using email address is called the email spoofing, and spoofing usually are websites are called web spoofing. And in this spoofing, one thing is very important, that attacker exploit trust relation between user and the network machine to gain access to the machine. Now these are the types of spoofing here. As I told you earlier, that IP spoofing, in IP spoofing, attackers use IP address of another computer. IP address is basically unique address provided by internet service provider, which is also called ISP. So attackers use IP address of another computer to acquire information or gain access. Second is email spoofing. In this, attacker sends email but makes it appear to come from someone else. So that is very important, that attacker sends email but makes it appear to come from someone else. And in web spoofing, attacker tricks web browser into communication with a different web server than the user intended. So there are three types of spoofing: IP spoofing, email spoofing, and web spoofing. Spoofing using IP address is called basically IP spoofing. Spoofing using email address is called the email spoofing, and spoofing using website or web server is called the web spoofing. And what is spoofing? In spoofing, basically an attacker alters his identity so that someone else think that he is someone else. Now there is a definition of email spoofing. It is already discussed, but types of email spoofing is concerned. So there are three types of it. First one is create an account with similar email address. Second is modify a mail client, and third is telnet or port 25. So let us take them one by one. First is create an account with similar email address. So there is an email address given here, that is Sanjay Goyal at the rate of yahoo.com. A message from this account can be perplex the students and modify a mail client. Attackers can put in any written address he want to in the mail he sends. And third is Telnet. Telnet is basically a protocol used for remote access. And Telnet to port 25. Most mail servers use port 25 for SMTP. SMTP is again a protocol, simple mail transfer protocol, and attackers logs on this port and composes a message for the user. So there are three types of email spoofing. First one is create an email account with similar email address. Second is modify an email client, and third is Telnet to port 25. Now there is a comparison between spoofing and phishing. So in spoofing, using fake email sender name so the message appears to be from a different sources, and you will trust it. If you don't know the sender, don't open it. So this is basically a precaution whenever there is a message and you don't know the sender, so please don't open the email address. And phishing, using trusted institutional name to be elect confidential information. And some common schemes look like they are from your bank or from eBay and ask you to update your account. So in phishing, don't do it. The legitimate company already knows your account information, and if you want to update your information, call the numbers in the phone book, not the number in the email. So there are some precautions by which you can easily get rid of spoofing and phishing. So first and the very important point is that whenever you want to share information to your bank, so always call to that number which is particular belong to that branch, and registered number, and don't call on any uh, number that is not legitimate or that is given in the email account. And there is a small comparison between spoofing and phishing. In spoofing, hacker tries to steal the identity to act another individual. That is the main aim of spoofing. And in phishing, hacker tries to steal the sensitive information of the user. That is the main objective of phishing. Spoofing does not require fraud, and in phishing, it is operated in a fraud manner. In spoofing, information is not theft. In phishing, information is theft. In spoofing, hackers tries to steal the identity to act as another individual, and in phishing, hackers tries to steal the sensitive information of the user. Spoofing does not require fraud, and phishing, it is operated in a fraud manner. So the basic difference is difference number 4. Spoofing In spoofing, hackers tries to steal the identity to act as another individual. That is the main objective of spoofing. And as far as phishing is concerned, in phishing, hackers tries to steal the sensitive information of the user. Now we can say that spoofing can be a part of phishing, but phishing cannot be a part of the spoofing. So spoofing can be a part of phishing. And spoofing needs to download some malicious software such as Trojan horse in victim computer, and phishing no such malicious software is needed. That is second important difference between spoofing and phishing. In spoofing needs to download some malicious software in victim computer, but phishing doesn't need such malicious software, and malicious software include basically a Trojan horse. And spoofing is basically done to get a new identity, and phishing is done to get a secret information. Types of spoofing are IP spoofing, email spoofing, URL spoofing, and types of phishing are phone phishing, clone phishing, etc. So these are the types of phishing. So as far as basic difference is concerned, there are there are so many difference, but in the examination it may be asking 1 or 2 marks question. So write at least three, and the three important points are: first is, in spoofing, hackers tries to steal the identity to act as another individual, but in phishing, hackers tries to steal the sensitive information of the user. Second is, spoofing needs to download some malicious software such as Trojan horse in victim pro computer, but in phishing no such malicious software is needed. And third one is types. As far as types are concerned, IP spoofing is of types of IP spoofing are email spoofing, URL spoofing, etc. And types of phishing are phone phishing and clone phishing. These are the types of phishing. And the most important point again, that spoofing can be a part of the phishing, but phishing cannot be a part of the spoofing. So that is another important point. So we can say that phishing includes spoofing also. Next important point is farming. So what is farming? That is again a type of cybercrime. Farming is a more advanced technique to get users credentials by making efforts to entering users into the website. In other words, it misdirects users to fake website that appears to be official, and victims gives their personal information by fault. And in farming, fake website is created which appears to be official. Users can access the website and request is popped up regarding username and password and other credentials. So in short, we can say that farming include a fraud website which looks like a original website. For example, State Bank of India have certain websites, suppose SBI.com, and a website looks like SBI.com, which is a fraud website, wants your personal information, your account information, your password information, etc. Whenever you registered that information on that fake website, it actually get your information through that website and misuse this information. And this type of fraud is called the farming. Farming is a type of cybercrime also. So in farming, basically first point is, it is a more advanced technique because it include a fraud website, and it used to get users credential by making efforts to entering users into the website, and this basically misdirect user to fake website. So that is very important point. Farming misdirect user to a fake website, and fake website collect your personal information, and we say that personal information include your bank account number, your password, and some other information also, and they misuse them using farming. So there is a diagram which is basically related to a farming, or we can say the architecture of farming. This is a attacker, DNS server, domain name server, and a user, that is a legitimate website, and that is a fake website. Attacker is a hacker. So hacker basically send request to user through DNS server, and user can go to a fraud website in place of legitimate website. So, and what is domain name server? Domain name servers are the internet's equivalent of a phone book, and they maintain a directory of domain names and translate them into internet protocol addresses. And this is necessary because although domain names are easy for people to remember, computers or machine access website based on IP address, that is called the domain name server. So attackers use domain name server, and the main point is, when attacker gives access or takes access from user using a fake website. Next, there is a difference between phishing and farming. So farming and phishing are already discussed, but there are some difference between phishing and farming, and when we ask in examination that what is the difference between phishing and farming. So there are a few difference. First difference is, in phishing, attackers tries to find the sensitive information of users by the means of electronic communication illegally. in phishing, attackers tries to find the sensitive information. So the objective is to find the sensitive information of users, and it can be found using electronic communication, and it is an illegal act and a type of cybercrime also. But in farming is a more advanced technique, and technique to get users credential by making efforts to entering user from into the websites. So there is a fraud website in farming, or fake website in farming, and using fake website farming type of this activity can be performed. Farming activity can be performed using a um, fake website which looks like a original website. Second difference is, in phishing it is an attempt to scam people one at a time via an email or instant message, but in farming it is simply redirects traffic from one website to into a different identical looking website to steal information. So in farming there is another possibility that it redirect traffic from one website to a different identical looking website. And phishing is an electronic mail fraud, while farming is similar to nature to email phishing. So we can say that it is a email phishing. Farming is also called as email phishing. And fourth important point is, in phishing, basically phishing is a type of fraud in which an attacker tricks to victims into providing personal information by email or message. But in farming, it is scam and seeks to obtain personal and private information through through domain spoofing. And some other difference, it phishing is relatively easy to initiate and identity, and farming is it is more difficult to accomplish and identify. Phishing involves a fraudulent email containing a link to a website seeking personal detail from a user, and farming basically poisons the DNS server, redirecting the user to a different website. Now that is a very important point. And phishing, it uses email, it uses website. So they are the difference. These are the difference between phishing and web farming. And when you want to conclude them, so the main difference is that phishing is done through an email, which redirect to a website, and farming is done using a fake website. And it may be possible that it redirect traffic from one website to a different identical looking website. So phishing include email address, while farming include a website. And second important point is that actually phishing is farming is basically a email phishing. We can say that a type of phishing. So these are the two basic difference between phishing and farming. Now next term is cybercrime. What is cybercrime? Actually these all are the phishing and spoofing and farming. These all are the types of cybercrime. So what is cybercrime? Actually cybercrime is defined as a crime where a computer is the object of the crime or is used as a tool to commit to an offense. In short, cybercrime is any type of illegal activity that takes place via digital means, and cybercrime is any criminal activity that involves a computer, network devices, or a network. So third definition or point is very important. Basically, as cybercrime is any criminal activity that involves a computer, network device, or a internet or a network. And US Department of Justice, also called as DOJ, divides cybercrime into three basic categories. First is crimes in which the computing device is the target, for example, to gain network access. Second is crimes in which the computer is used as the weapon, for example, to launch a denial of service attack. And crimes in which the computer is used as an accessory to a crime, for example, using a computer to store illegally obtained data. So these are the three different types of cybercrimes. Next, these are the different types of cybercrime here. Some of them are already discussed, such as phishing, and others are unauthorized use and hacking, web hijacking, and pornography, child sexual abuse, cyber attacking, software piracy. Software is one of the most important type of cyber crime. and salami attack, and service attacks, virus attacks, different types of virus attacks such as worm, Trojan horse, etc. These are all the types of cybercrime also. And phishing is spoofing, farming. These all are also called are the types of cybercrime. And next is salami attack. There is a term used in salami attack. What is salami attack? Salami slicing is an information security, and salami attacks a series of minor attacks that together results in a larger attacks. And computers are um, ideally suited to automatically this type of attack. So we can say that salami attack is a series of minor attacks that together result in a larger attack, and it is a type of cybercrime. Now there are two common terms used in cyber world. These are hacker and cracker. So there is a difference between hacker and cracker. So they look like the same. Most of the time cracker is also called as hacker, but there is a difference between hacker and cracker. So let us take the difference between hacker and cracker one by one. First is the definition. In terms of definition, a hacker is a person who is interested in the working of any computer or operating system, computer operating system. Most often hackers are the programmers, and hackers obtain advanced knowledge of the operating system and programming language. They may know various security holes within the system and the reasons of such holes. And definition of cracker is concerned, a cracker is a person who breaks into other people's system with malicious intention. So the point is malicious intention is there regarding to a cracker. And cracker gain unauthorized access, destroy important data, and stop service providing by the server, or basically cause problem for their targets. And crackers can easily be identified because their action are malicious. And hackers constantly seek further knowledge, share what they have discovered, and they never have intentions about the damaging or stealing data. That is very important point. And as far as cracker is concerned, they have intention about damaging or stealing data. So crackers basically the aim of the cracker is to damage or steal data, and the hacker are not malicious, and hacker's intention is not malicious. And hacker does not work against the law. That is very important point. And crackers, they work against law. So we can say that crackers are basically the criminals, but hackers are not so. Crackers are not criminal. They access the data, but they are not criminals. And hackers, they are always find uh, weak points um, of website and secure it. And crackers, they have always bad intention whenever they work. So as far as intention is clear, intention of cracker is not good, or they have malicious intention. But in the case of hacker, it is not so. So in short, we can say that as far as hacker and crackers are concerned, both can perform some illegal activities, but cracker have malicious intention, but hacker doesn't have malicious intention. And crackers intentionally damage or steal data from any website, or um, any website for their personal use or for their personal benefit. But in terms of hacker, it is not so. They doesn't Hackers actually doesn't work against the law, but crackers works against law. And nowadays hacker term is basically used for cracker also. So but as far as the difference is concerned, cracker is much more difference in terms of hackers. We can say that hacker is look like a policeman, work like a policeman, but cracker is basically a thief. So these are the some important difference between hacker and cracker. So in this chapter we learn about cyber crimes such as farming, phishing and spoofing, and the definition of cybercrime and the difference between hacker and cracker. In our next lecture we discuss about cyber law and some types of cybercrime also. I hope you like this video, and Please write important definitions and terms and note out especially some pictures or picture representation of different terminology. You can easily understand them. Thank you for watching this video.